Hey everyone, Travis here at the end of day 3 of All-Stars in Paris, France, joined by a beautiful French girl named Chobra. How's it going, Chobra?
Great. It feels great to be beautiful.
I mean, doesn't it?
Yep.
Either way,
Would you know? Would you know?
one time.
Okay.
It's been a rough couple years. Esports is a cruel mistress. Anyway, let's talk about All-Stars. There's some players here seem to be high caliber. Any that you like?
Like all of them, actually.
How unbiased of you.
Most people actually know that I'm a huge fan of Fnatic. Yeah. In fact, in terms of the teams in the Invitational.
I believe their name is Fnatic.
Is that correct?
Based on the crowd. Yeah.
Okay. I will have to fix that. In terms of the challenge, I think everyone was excited for those players. I, with a ton of other people, I think would agree, was very excited for Messiah and Toys coming back to play in that one game for the Hex kill. Toys seems a little shaky, but still was nice to see him.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really fun as well. The challenger stuff or the challenge matches have been much more exciting and hyped than I thought they were. Were you surprised by them at all, or were you you knew that these were going to be great?
Well, I wasn't sure what to expect, because of the different modes. Of course, we've all tried them if you were playing during those times, and they're fun, but how would they work as shell matches? And I think it works out great in terms of the OGN broadcast. Of course, we focus a lot on Madlife and Shy, and Shy's been keeping his distance from Madlife more and more now that Team Ice has won 2 games. Yeah. And Madlife seems to target Shy a lot. Probably purposely.
Have you seen Madlife and Doublelift been talking at all? It's actually hilarious to see them talk to each other.
Yeah, I think it's great, especially because I'm gonna break it to Doublelift. Yeah, Madlife is a little bit two-faced sometimes. Yeah. I'm just gonna let him.
I've picked up on that. He's been trash talking Doublelift a lot.
Yeah, in Korean he'll be like, oh, I don't know about Doublelift's Vayne, his skill builds, and then they'll be playing, he'll be saying this to Cloud Templar right next to him while they're playing, and then he'll look at Doublelift and be like, oh, good. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Susie's been telling me this a little bit too. Also Doublelift is it's really rough. I think Sundera or whatever. It's if you're familiar with that term, Doublelift keeps trying to make something romantic happen with Madlife, and earlier actually Madlife learned a cuss word, an English cuss word. So earlier Doublelift said something about, I think, OGN, didn't they do a date with Unare kind of thing?
Yes.
So Doublelift said that they should do a date with Madlife, and Doublelift should do it. And then Madlife responded with some good old American cussing. So it's been interesting to watch those two. No, other than that though, SKT seems to be a pretty good team. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but.
I've heard some things about T1K, but I've also heard they're in NLB. They're not even in the finals of NLB. But truth be told, and they have changed since their slump in Korea, and they admit it too. They had a huge slump. I mean, even today in the broadcast, Piglet's interview with Riot, he said, "I don't think we're the best team anymore. I fully admit that," and it still shows. They're top tier. They're proving that. But a lot of I read the feedback on the communities, and I think a lot of fans also pick up on they're still winning, but not as cleanly as they used to, and it shows.
So now we have kind of a mini Worlds where we got China versus Korea once again. You think SKT is just going to stomp?
It all comes down to the first set. I think SKT will still win. I think OMG also is a team that seems to get their focus broken pretty easily. And we saw that with Cloud9 today, actually. And I was predicting today with the OGN guys, I was like, whoever wins the first set between Cloud9 and OMG, they're going to 2-0, because I think both teams will just kind of crumble if they lose the first set. So I think T1K, and I'm sure they've figured this out, so they're going to have to bring out their best picks first set. And if they win with that, it actually may be less intense than most people would want.
Now, I want to step back to the challenge matches one more time. Cool. Looked so awesome today. I really enjoyed watching that. And Froggen and Doublelift both gave him mad props. They both said that Madlife and him were basically who won that. What do you think of Cool? It's kind of weird because he's not playing right now or whatever. What's going on?
Well, I've always thought Cool was a really good player, even at Worlds. He proved his stuff. Today with Lee Sin, though, he's really proven that he has the mechanics to be that superstar level player. But then again, Xiang has his kind of spiels going on in OMG, and of course I don't work with the team. I haven't really got to talk to them or whatnot, so I don't know how the team chemistry works out. But I'd love to see Cool, back in a starting position again sometime soon.
At Worlds, there was a lot of talk about how Cool was maybe like near Faker's level, but just not flashy. Like he played almost like a more utility, kind of like what Hai does for Cloud9. And but then we saw him on Lee Sin, and he's just like crazy. So do you think that Cool has like this Faker beast in him, where he could just like hop on LeBlanc at some point in time and like rip people's faces off?
I mean, I don't know about how high the skill level would be, but I think it's definitely there. I would say that before. Perhaps that's just not what OMG needed. And OMG used to focus a lot more on, I think, San, actually. But now with Xiyang, they've actually really focused on the mid lane. So maybe if Cool is given that chance, too, that might change. But also, it might just be because it was Lee Sin. You know, different people just kind of fly high on different champions.
Doublelift told me afterwards and then also tweeted that he felt as though Cool was like the new Faker. And then I interviewed Cool, and Cool was like, I'm not the new Faker. I'm the Cool. That was what he said, through the translation at least. I don't know. Do you any idea on where these guys are? Like now that this conversation has been opened by a silly AD carry.
I'd say I agree with Cool. You know, Faker. What makes Faker him is that there have always been these players who are superstars at some point. You know, Froggen was there. You know, Doublelift was there as AD carry. They all have had their moments, but no one has been able to extend that period of time with this wide of a champion pool. You know, Faker's like, oh, like, you know, mid-Riven, of course, that was a huge thing at Worlds. Back in Korea, he was like, oh, you played Lulu? I'll play Lulu. Oh, you played Ziggs? I'll play Ziggs. It's not because he's really good. It's because he's really good on all these champions for this long of a time. I think that's what makes him special.
Understandable. Anything else you wanna talk about All-Stars? Any final things that you've really enjoyed about this event, or anything you want to say to anybody?
Well, in terms of the event, you know, I think it was really lovely, and I know everyone's been talking about it, and I've heard things even before, you know, when Tales of the Lane happened and stuff, people talked about, oh, like the crowd in France is so great, so great. But man, so of course, casting with OGN, we're in, like, up on the scaffolding, and when people start cheering, like, we feel like a mini earthquake, and the Korean casters kind of freaked out the first time. They're like, whoa, like, we've never seen this happen, especially because in Korea, there's usually not chanting. It's very rare in terms of player names or whatnot. It's usually just loud cheering, which is great, but it's always kind of limited in how they cheer. So that was really neat. You know, the people have been great. The event has been fantastic. I love the idea of the show matches from Riot. I really appreciate that. I'm sure the fans do too. I
want to cut in here and just say, you know, I've noticed that a lot of I can't speak French or understand it. I mean, a little bit, but the French casters seem to do a very good job of getting like the audience to, like, they were getting them to do the wave. They got them to sing Happy Birthday to Faker. So maybe it's the job of the people commentating and sitting at the chairs and the couches to really amp up people. So is this something you can do with the Koreans?
I'd love to. I've actually always, that's kind of my, I guess, like,
hype man.
That's the dream image I have for myself when I'm casting. But of course, especially in OGN, I know Doa wants to do that a lot too, but we don't get to because we're not the ones going out in the main speaker. But
you should change that, by the way.
You know, yeah, I should just go to the Korean government and be like, listen, I think English should be the main language. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I think it's great. And of course, Caster Jun and OGN, like, he gets the crowd hyped up, but in a very different way. You know, he just kind of gets them riled up, whereas here it's just very, like, organized. The casters kind of, Chips and Noah kind of unite the fans for the purpose of esports, and I think it's really great.
Well, anyway, my video producer's starting to, it's a heavy camera. So you have, come on, Chobra, like, what do you want to say to the fans? I mean, wrap up.
Jeez, all right. You know, I just have so much love for everything that's going on this weekend. But, you know, thanks to all the fans, especially who watch OGN all the time. I met actually a couple here. It was really nice to see you guys supporting. I saw the OGN TSM sign on broadcast. That was pretty neat. So thank you all for watching. Continue to watch, you know, all the content. Champions and Masters still going on in Korea. The finals are coming up for both, so that's really exciting. I'm sorry. I know I'm
turning this into an advertisement.
Well, hey, that's what I do.
I'm selling T-shirts on my website.
Yeah, well, I'm not, but I do have a Twitter, you know, all that stuff. You can find me on various forms of, like, social media. Will Chobra. Twitter is kind of the main thing I use, though, and I guess Travis is okay too. He's an all right guy.
You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things All-Stars at ongamers.com.